For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in, wherever you're tuning in. How did I used to start the show by saying thanks for tuning in? What? It's scribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud. And then now it's like, is SoundCloud even around anymore? And it's, yeah. Times have really changed in the however many years we've been doing this show. 5 years maybe or so, 6 years. That even just, broadcasting has changed. I mean, not to say that podcasts just started in the past 5 years, because I've been hosting a radio show for 15 years. Hello. But certainly even just the radio industry, right? The broadcast industry has changed. When I got onto the radio, YouTube might have existed. I know Facebook wasn't around. Like, there's just, it was so different back then. Those were good times, actually, now that I think about it, Hey? Yeah, there you go. All right, we got lots to talk about today. My Post-its in front of me are just full of notes. That's how I organize and decide what we're going to talk about on the show. I will have ideas that come to me. I will tell them to my team. I've got a team, Bonnie, you've heard Bonnie Winters on the show many times. Tim, Raylene, Darcy, Rob, everybody's here. And I'll go and say, I want to talk about this. They'll say yes, no, yes. I'll do all of them anyway because I'm the boss, and then we do the show. So today I'm going to talk about customer service and how people are just really, really impatient nowadays, right? If I'm paying you for a service or product or something, I expect 100% immediate attention right now. I want a resolution right now. Tell you about a situation that happened. People just don't have any sympathy for when a company is going through a tough time. Also, too, do you ever have these just random weird phone calls with people? My mom is one of those people. She's retired now. Her and my dad are retired. They're at home. I own a company. I create my own schedule. So I think maybe there's a bit of hey, I can call Jeremy. He's not going to be doing anything today. Anyway, just some randomness. I want to see if you can relate to having just, again, random calls and conversations with your parents. And dog lovers. I've got a story about my dog. I don't know the last time that I told a really full, in-depth story about pets. I think it's a pet day today. So if there's time, I will talk about that as well. And what was the other one? Oh, and feeling good about having a little bit of a mess in my house when I watch Hoarders on A&E. All right, so we'll talk about all of that today. It's on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. I've made an observation. Tell me if you've seen this or witnessed this yourself. There's little patience in the world today. Have you and it seems to be on social media. People just don't. It's like time is money. I need an answer now. I need this now. I should have had this now. And don't get me wrong. I'll be fully upfront with you. I am one of those people. Now, here's the deal. We have this idea because we're a paying customer, right? That's what it is. I'm giving you my money, so I need immediate attention, immediate response, immediate action. And I noticed this over a week or so ago, I think it was. One of our web hosting companies went down. Now, this can be a big deal, right? I mean, we have a bunch of different websites across several different web hosts. And I've always felt this way, and I've said this even from the beginning. When we started to do our radio shows and people would ask, about our social media channels and, what's your Facebook traffic like? What's your Twitter traffic like? And I said from the very beginning, I want our own platform. So when we have photo galleries or I want our web pages and our websites designed in-house so that if company A goes out of business, we aren't completely without a website. If company B goes out of business, we haven't lost all of our photos because they were all stored on their servers. And I said that from the very beginning. And again, we've been on the radio since before social media was a thing. And that's just always the way I felt. I've never trusted a web hosting company because, they could all of a sudden just decide to shut down tomorrow. Or, we did actually have a company that we used for one of the websites. It was designed through them. And suddenly, there needed to be an upgrade or this was outdated. It wasn't being supported anymore. And I said, we're not getting into that situation. I'm not going to have something designed by one person, then suddenly, maybe we have a billing dispute or maybe we have a problem and now we've got to go start from scratch and make an entirely new website. So our one of our web hosting companies went down. Not a problem. We do have an e-commerce store, but that totally unrelated to, it was one of our radio websites. So the bottom line is that listeners couldn't go to our content for a little while, an hour or two. Not a big deal, but again, you want that immediate attention. You want to make sure the company that you're paying has your back and is not going to go down. I realize that an outage could happen even to the likes of, Google or Amazon. Like, I get that, but at the same time, you have your backups. I guess they call it redundancies in some cases, where if this one craps out, the other one is there to pick up the slack and to continue on so that there isn't much of a noticeable outage. And what I find fascinating is when we discovered that the website wasn't working, and basically that was because our email wasn't working, I think, on one of them. So we weren't able to get or send email. So then we go to the website and it's like, oh, the website's down. Okay, that's why our email is out. And then the next thing that you ultimately do is you go to social media, right? You look to see, have they posted, have they tweeted something? Have they given an update? I think there's a little bit more acceptance if the company comes up right at the front and says, we're experiencing an outage, right? Like, it's on us. But the thing that this company didn't do was stay silent. Now, again, I understand that if your website is down, hosting company, that it might be impossible to post a message on your site or when I log in to my platform to see, right? I get that, right? Because you could be completely locked out. But that's the beauty of social media, right? Is that you can take to your Facebook page, you can go to your Twitter page, you can post something and say, hey, look, we're having an outage. But the company was MIA for hours. And we're not talking like 4 a.m. on a Sunday. This was the regular, like, office hours, prime time. That's a PR approach that I think all companies, if you're doing business and you have customers, right? I mean, our radio websites, I mean, technically, I guess a listener or a visitor is our customer, but we're not selling anything. It's not a transactional platform. It's, so we don't really owe a person anything, with all due respect for our listeners. Do you know what I'm saying, though? It's not like you have an account with us. It's not like you're buying something from that site. You're not, it's just there. And so it was fascinating to me because, again, I studied PR in school, just to watch how many people, like, just this domino effect. And in my head, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, they need to hire us to do their PR because they're not part of the conversation at that point. They're falling behind. They're trailing behind. And people had little remorse for the company in that regard. I think, again, my opinion, like I said, if you step up, hey, look, we're having an outage. We're working on it. We'll get back to you. Stay tuned to Twitter for updates. People are going to have more acceptance. They're going to feel bad for you. They're going to feel remorse. In the end, they had some kind of a hacking. Well, okay, so first off, because you didn't jump ahead of the conversation and steer it and lead it and be in charge, you're getting buried alive by all these tweets. Then you come out publicly announcing it was a hack. Now you've just fueled that fire 10 times. Like, I don't even know how big you just escalated it in that regard. And so when you think about it, though, I hate using the term victim because that always but sure, if they were the victim of a hack, all right? I realize that could happen to almost anybody. But the point is that people had no sympathy or remorse. Wait a second, you just had your entire platform, come under attack, whatever, and the mob was not having it. And again, because I think it's that they're paying customers, and my website was affected by it. So I'm the victim in this. You let me down because you were hacked. And then people going and saying, like, why don't you have other servers that can default? Why don't you have a fallback? Like, how can you, and yeah, it was really bad. So it was fascinating to me to see how people just would not let up. That the victim ultimately was, I guess, in twofold, was the hosting company and its customers. But the customers aren't going to see it that way. The reality is, you can't always necessarily prevent everything. And I think that we've seen that too. And part of that is since this whole Corona thing, right? I mean, you feel like the government has let you down. You feel like, all levels have kind of let you down. And we're quick to jump and quick to react. Like I said, I was one of the first people to like fire back at the company and say, good, I want a refund for today. I want this. And at the same time, because it's a customer service job, they have to say, oh, we're really, really sorry. I'm expressing no concern for their system and everything like that. It's about me as the consumer. And again, that's just the way it is today. Not saying that it's right or wrong. That's just the way it is, right? That's just how you do business. So, yeah, people are, you come under attack if you screw up, if you have, and it's sad. It's sad to think that, but that's just the way things go. Send me an email. Love to know your thoughts. live@jbonair.com.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. I just stabbed myself with a pen. Thanks for tuning in today. I had a discussion with my mom, and maybe that's why now I... That's why I'm stabbing myself, everybody. No, I had sometimes when you get older and I haven't lived with my parents for well over 13 years now. I see them from time to time if I go over and I walk the dogs. And remember, a lot of the time I live in Los Angeles and my parents are in Canada, so we don't But we'll have the phone calls. There's sometimes when I just wonder if. I don't know if it's that my mom is bored or she just thinks, hey, Jeremy's going to find this to be an interesting story. I don't know. Or maybe she just wants to, I don't know what it is. She's just grasping at straws, just needing to talk to me for some reason. So the other day she called me and she said to me, do you know that I got our gas bill? And I said, well, I believe that. I probably got one too. I don't pay my bills, but somebody does it for me, but I trust that I got one too. Do you know that I had a heating credit of $1,100 from the winter? And then I started laughing because you have to realize that my parents keep the house devastatingly cold. And so when we have a family get-together, could be my dad's birthday, could be Christmas, whatever it is, it's not uncommon for me, for my brothers, for my nephews. My sisters-in-law don't. They sort of tread lightly, criticizing my parents, but certainly the grandkids, my nieces and nephews chime in when we just go and say, like, it is freezing in this house. And so my dad's birthday is November, winter. Christmas is December, winter. And there's something else that we have at their house in the winter. And I like, every time, it's just so cold. And so it's like, Mom, you're just setting yourself up to be made fun of. I mean, of course, because you don't have the heat on in the winter. No wonder you have a credit of $1,100. But this was a victory lap of sorts for her. She was very proud to have $1,100. And I was like, cool. Great. And then again, this is one of those situations where, am I supposed to engage? Is this just a quick 30-second call? She's wanting to give me this news update, then we're done. Am I supposed to talk about my bills now? Because again, I have an accountant. I don't look at my bills. Maybe I've had a credit. I'm not quite sure. And so I out of nowhere, I was like, yeah, I remember having a water bill when I first moved in as being like $200. That was honestly, that was all I could come up. I had nothing. So I don't know. Tell me if you have a mom. Tell me if you have just sort of these odd calls. And let me be honest, I've probably done the same thing where I've had a realization or something has happened and I've just called, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's is it an old person thing? Is it an adult, child, elderly parent thing? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here on the Scribble. I don't call myself lazy because I work a lot, right? As an entrepreneur, I own a business. There's a lot that goes on. But when it comes to doing stuff around the house, I have no interest. I have no interest in cleaning my house. And I've talked about it on the show. It's sort of a running joke amongst my colleagues and my family that I don't clean my house. I don't cut the grass. I don't shovel the snow in the winter. I have people that do that. I hire people. And so that's my thing. I could never justify it. Now, again, I moved into my house as an entrepreneur. Well, sorry, no, I wasn't an entrepreneur at the time. About 6 months after moving into my house is when I quit my job at a publishing company and I started Speak Free Media. And I was slugging it out quite a bit, right? I mean, if you've started a business, if you've got that as your only source of income, I think that you have an appreciation for working those 12, 16-hour days, struggling to, wonder how you're going to pay the bills. There was a time, I've told this story, I had to borrow $7.50 to buy a box of granola bars for my brother. Like, it was coming to that. Like, it was, and, worrying about how I was going to pay for my house and everything like that. So once I hit it big and I started to make a lot of money, that was one of the, I was just like, yeah, you know what? Somebody's going to do this stuff for me. And at the same time, I'm not saying that it's beneath me. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that I ain't got time for that shit. Like, that is not so the weekend rolls around. I don't want to be now spending, because I had 2 dogs at the time. So, fur galore all over the house and, and slobber and dust and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, weekend rolls around. I have no interest in spending 4, 6, whatever hours now on my one. Yeah, no, not going to happen. So you know what? I'll do my stuff around the house. I'll lay in the yard with the dogs, whatever. Somebody can go clean the house, get all that stuff done. Not my interest. And so when I watched Hoarders last week, I don't know. There was a marathon, I guess, on A&E not that long ago, and so I had a whole bunch of episodes. Or actually, maybe it just automatically records every week. I'm not sure. Anyway, bottom line is, that show made me feel really good about myself. And it's fascinating to watch. Now, you got to remember, these people are going on, and they're knowingly exploiting their life and their situation. And that comes along with judgment from people as well. But I find it fascinating because as much as I might go and say, like, oh my God, look at the dust on that shelf. Or, oh my God, like, oh, look at the grime around the bathtub or on the tiles in the bathroom. There's just something that after watching that, I was like, you know what? My house ain't that bad. So I might go a week or so without the cleaning lady coming or whatever it might be. But watching Hoarders makes me feel absolutely better about myself. It really does. Now, again, like I said, the people go on there, exploit themselves. So you can say that I'm a terrible person because I'm, laughing or mocking those people. Again, you know what you're getting into going on a TV show like that. No different than when I mock people on Bachelor and Bachelorette. Like, that's just, you go on there to be ridiculed. What do you think is going to happen? You want your 15 minutes of fame. You're going to act the fool. This is what you get. But with Hoarders, yeah, like my bathroom, yeah, we'll have socks on the bathroom floor. Like, whatever. That's the extent of it. We might have a sink with dishes in it from a few days ago that have been rinsed or soaked or whatever it is, and that's my response to that. Yeah, I'm whatever. And then when my mom comes, should I talk about my mom again? Yeah, okay, here we go. There's just, even my mom will kind of look at, she's a Ukrainian woman, and in that generation of, she's in her 60s, is that your kitchen was spotless. That was just a thing. It just is. And I remember her coming in one day and just, it was almost like I see from her eyes zooming in on my sink and then hearing like, that there was just something wrong. And And then I was like, it's my house, though. I don't know how you can live like this. And I almost wanted to go and say, you come in the living room. I want to put on this show. I want you to see how these people on Hoarders live. No, I don't have caked, there's no bugs and cockroaches and dead animals running, or dead animal wouldn't be running through my house, but you get what I'm saying, though. Like, no. I'm not a pack rat. And I've said this before, even my house is too big for us. We have a spare bedroom in the house that has kind of become, I wouldn't even say storage. At one time, it was becoming a gym. I moved a water cooler in there. We had a treadmill in there, had some weights in there, and a TV. And then my husband, who's a big gym, he's a fitness guy. So we ended up moving a bunch of that down to the basement. So we have essentially a spare bedroom in the house that's largely empty. And then upstairs, the bedroom is the entire upstairs. So it's a big like loft kind of area. We have an entire wing of the loft empty. And then the basement, so not only is there the gym downstairs in the basement, we've got an entire rec room that's empty. When I say empty, I mean, and I know what the word literally means. I know what the word literally means. It's literally empty. We do not have furniture in that room at all. There's a bookshelf in the corner. I mean, I'm meaning furniture that you like sit on, relax on. Like a bookshelf, I guess, is considered furniture. Sure. What I'm saying is that there's no seating down there. Like it's a fully finished basement. There's carpet. The walls are done. Like everything is. We just don't use it. Like the house is just too big. So no, if there's anybody that has the resources to be a hoarder, it would be me. I've got the space. I've got money. But I just don't like stuff. I just don't. Tell me if you watch Hoarders. Are you fascinated by that show? And I don't watch any of those TLC shows, except for that one. What was it called? Not my husband's. I married a mama's boy. I love a mama's boy. Something like that. That was the only one because my husband is very much. He's a Brazilian man who's, his mother was his world. I've now stepped into that role. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm nudging my hair, just kind of. Anyway, live at jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on the Scribble. I'm not sure that I've told a dog story in a while. Is it okay if I just... This is one of those things where if you are an animal lover or you have pets, you appreciate the stories. If you don't have pets, a lot of times I don't want to hear it, right? Because it's no different than somebody who has kids. I have no interest in hearing about how great your kid's soccer game was or what they did. I don't care. You're my friend. Tell me about your day. No different than when it comes to relationships and things like that. I don't care what your husband or your wife did. It's not you're the friend. It depends on the relationship that you have with somebody. But anyway, so I have a story about my dog. As you know, last year one of my dogs died, so I still have my golden retriever Ernie. He's 13 years old, and we just kind of have this routine in the house. Just the day just kind of goes a certain way, and it's funny when he knows the patterns of the house. He knows when it's just going to be a lazy day. I wake up, again, I'm not usually up early in the morning. I kind of roll out of bed 10:30, 11 o'clock sometimes. And if I go right to the bathtub, he just knows the drill. Like, okay, well, we just woke up. He just ate. He went outside. He did his thing. And if the tub is filling up or whatever it is, he just lays down right away. Like, right? He just gets it. He just knows that I'm going to be in there for, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, doing my work, emails, watching a TV show or something. And he just, right? He accommodates what's going on. He shifts, he knows. But I'm still fascinated that he doesn't get, and again, he's a golden retriever, so he's got like those flappy, jowly, not lips, but whatever. And So when he drinks, I know that he's going to shake his head within 20 seconds of finish drinking. And for some reason, he'll stop drinking and then he'll come and see you. So I could be on the couch, I could be wherever. Like, he's got to come and find you. And somebody told me before, if you hold his ear, if you touch his ear, like you know, he won't shake. He won't shake his head. So I started to do that. And I was like, okay, great. And then I stopped, and then he didn't shake right around me. And then when he did it again, I kind of was like, get out, stop, and moved and sort of pushed him away. And I thought, okay, he's going to pick up on this, right? He's going to realize that, oh, I did this and I got shooed away last time, right? I think that he found it to be a game, and so then he started to do it all the time, basically. So I'm back to trying to... See, I don't always realize it. Like, I don't sit there and go, okay, I hear him drinking in the other room and he's going to come. So there's sometimes when you don't even notice it, but I should realize it. Like, I should actually know his pattern now, right? Because then I'll be on the couch and then he'll come and then he'll just stand there and look at you. And maybe it's dark in the room so I can't see that he's got the slobber, dripping from his face. And so I just don't. But then out of nowhere, it's just that, and it makes that sound. So you know that sound if you've had a golden retriever. And now, like, it's water everywhere. But again, so it's fascinating to know that he picks up on the patterns. No different than when I'm in my office at home, right? So if I have hardwood floor in my office at home. In the studio here, I'm not at home right now. In the office studio, we have carpet all over the floor. In my home office at home, it's hardwood in the studio that I have at the house. And so when I'm if I'm taping a celebrity interview from home, or if I'm, I might have a creative brainstorm and I'll go and record just a bunch of segments for something. And then the dog knows as soon as he sees the microphone being pulled in front of me, and then I'm clicking around on the computer and whatever I'm doing, he will leave the room, and he'll quietly walk out of the room and lay in the doorway. Again, I guess just over the years, he's known that if he stands right beside you, or if he gets in the way, he'll kind of get pushed aside, because when you're recording radio stuff, you can't have noise and whatever in the background. You've got to be focused. And I think just after ignoring him for so long, right? Because that's what a dog is going to do. They're going to stand and look at you, and then as soon as you pay attention to them, you've now egged them on. If you ignore them, they'll walk away. And I felt bad at the beginning, right? Because this is your dog wanting attention, and why did you have a dog then? Well, at the same time, I also have to work to put a roof over his head, right? So it's not like I'm being a neglectful, a bad, negligent parent. It's just like I need to be on my own right now. Like, you can't be here, especially if you're going to do your floppy thing. Like, that's the last thing that I need. So yeah, he's picked up on the patterns. Bath time, he'll just lay on the floor. I'm about to record, he'll quietly leave the room and then lay down. He will let out a sigh. He will do that, though. He'll flop down, then you'll hear... But the shaking of the head thing, it's like, I don't know if he gets a kick out of that now. Is that what it is? He's like, I'm going to piss this guy. I'm going to get him soaking wet right now. Tell me, I want to hear from the pet parents on this one. Live at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com. Oh, I had written down, too, circling to find the right spot to lay. This is always interesting to me as well, that... He'll circle. He'll just, the same spot on the carpet where he's laid many, many times before. Hours and hours and hours he's laid there over the course of his life. But for some reason, he just has to get in there. And then he'll scratch at the carpet like a cat. Almost like he's fluffing up the carpet of where he's going to lay. Same thing outside to pee. I've got to find just the right spot to pee or to take a crap. And it's like, do you realize, we're not saving this. Like, but it's got to be just the right spot. Good morning, happy breakfast if you're just eating right now. Send me an email, live at jbonair.com.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Wow, we've really taken a whole lap around the world today, right? We talked about customer service, we've talked about family, we've talked about pets. Wow. There we go. And we've mocked people on hoarders. There you go. Well, you know what? That's a complete day, if I must say so myself. Feel free to give me a shout anytime. It's always awesome hearing from you. My email address is live at jbonair.com. Live at jbonair.com. For some reason, I was just about to throw to another music set, but this isn't the radio show. I've said this before. because I host 2 radio shows and a podcast, right? Like I almost have to have a little note in front of me saying radio or podcast. Podcast, I can let the swears fly, right? A bit different than on the radio because, you get in trouble for stuff like that, which I find fascinating because when you look at today's world, that the TV networks, the broadcast networks still freak out over like the tiniest swear. I just think about it. Is that really a problem nowadays? Well, we'll talk about that another time. All right. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat